Right, we are live. We got our alerts off. Good evening, everyone. It is Tuesday, which is Triumph Tuesday, 7 p.m. on May 2nd. We hope everyone's having a good day. I know I've had a crazy day. We're going to chat about that. But good evening, everyone. Carol Sue, aka Naughty Boss, live with
TwoSistas. Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Janice, aka Wellness Diva 5.0. Here, Gator, Gator, here, Gator, Gator. I just had to do that.
No, it's so funny when you take on these projects or whatnot, and then obviously, I am on the HOA board of our community, and I'm learning a lot about alligators that I just never knew. So we live in a community where there's a larger pond and two smaller ponds. They actually call them lakes, but they're ponds. But anywho, this is breeding season for alligators, which I did not know that. And we spotted a neighbor spotted a baby, or to be not a baby, but a smaller alligator in the larger pond. So we're guessing that smaller gator is probably 2.5 feet long by the pictures. That's the larger pond. So we've been assessing it daily, you have to, and obviously informing our neighbors of what's going on. Now there appears to be possibly another small one in there. We're not 100% sure because it's difficult. They only peer their eyes out. They can be underwater for 30 minutes and then they peer their eyeballs out and they're looking. They can get aggressive. So we have a lot of people because we have a lot of bass in the ponds. We also have a lot of turtles. So they're having a big feast, I'm sure, but a lot of people do feed them. So when you're dealing with an alligator, that is, kind of in that the breeding sense, even though these are baby ones, you got to be careful in general. So things that I thought I knew are not true. So for instance, a gator can actually lunge out at you. So in other words, like if somebody's feeding the fish, they're throwing in the water, throwing the food in the water. What is it going to do? It naturally attracts whatever fish are in that area. And that lets the gator know that all the fish are there. So it's easier for them to eat them, but also is a prime time for them to put their eyeballs out of the water to see, is there anything else, any other treats I can get? And frequently, or at least what we've heard over the last month or so, is there have been some severe issues with gators. A woman lost her arm not too far from here. Another person got bit in the leg. So it's something that you don't take lightly, but you got to educate yourself. So they can stay underwater for 30 minutes. You cannot, the alligators in Florida, there's a Florida statute that they are a protected species. So you have to actually get a permit through the state. Then you have to hire a trapper, and they won't come out until the alligator is at least 5 feet. The alligator has to be out of the water. So, the common question would be, or at least my question was, well, what am I doing? Bribing the alligator with fish food to get out of the pond? How's it getting out of the pond? Well, they like to sunbathe in the heat of the day. And then at nighttime, when it gets close to dusk, they like to walk around. So that is the perfect time to trap them. But however, they have to be at least 5 feet. So learning all this from the two, one, possibly two smaller gators that are in the bigger pond this morning, and it's been a crazy couple days, and I blame it on the full moon. I'm going with that. Just people have been I would say just, everyone's talking about how they feel weird, just weird vibe going on. I talked to another name. She's, oh, my husband's driving me nuts. And, another one, I'm gonna break his neck. He's doing this. Blah, 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 blah. So a lot of bickering going on. There is also, just in general, you go on social media, there's just kind of a weird vibe going on. So, me trying to plunge forward and stay positive. So today I'm dealing with HOA business. I'm also dealing with PickleBall University business. I'm dealing with legalities of getting some county codes, state codes. I'm doing all that stuff, as well as, our own business that we're doing. And what else was I doing? Oh, we got a PickleBall University event. We're doing the Kentucky Derby PBU style this Saturday. So I had to make sure that, my permits were coming from the floor. So I'm just nonstop. So all of a sudden I get a phone call this morning from Joe, and Joe, He lives right across the street, sweetheart.
Mm.
You got to come over here real quick, but don't go in the yard. Go through the front door. He says, I think I spotted an alligator. There's an alligator out there. And I'm thinking now, because these 3 ponds, 2 are fed through one side of a canal, and 1 is fed from the other canal. So they're all intertwined at somewhere or another, some pipe, some whatever. So I proceed to tell John, and he's, getting ready to go packing. And I'm like, it's a protective species. You can't do that. So we run over there, we go through the front door, go out the back, and he was upset because the alligator was actually outside with the early sunrise. So the sun was already out in full blast, and he was sunbathing. And he didn't have his phone to get a quick picture. So now he said it walked back into the pond. So at first I thought maybe it's one of the other alligators over in the other pond, but it turns out this one is over 4 feet. I've got some great documentation. And I was on alligator patrol most of the day, getting pictures, trying to, really navigate to see how as best we could with zooming in, binoculars, and documenting, taking pictures of how long it was. So we're guessing 4.5 feet. So then, obviously then, with an HOA, you're dealing with a management company. So I had to call them up. They had to come out. Many neighbors, alerting the neighbors, beware, we got to get signs to get up. At the same time, an ambulance and a fire truck is coming in because one of the homes, someone had a guest was not feeling well, and ambulance had to be called. So I'm running down to make sure it's not my other neighbor whose husband was home alone. And, so I called her. I said, is everything all right? She said, what do you mean? I said, well, the ambulance just came through in a fire truck. And I'm in the middle of, alligator patrol here, trying to, this alligator's staring right at me. So she goes, oh my God, run to my house, make sure it's not, her husband. So I run down there. Now the neighbors are coming out. We're trying to figure out, whose home it was going to. So it was just one of those days where, and of course it's Triumph Tuesday, and you say, well, how can you, like, all these different pieces of a bigger puzzle of life, still trying to stay positive, get in some movement, which, I got in some jogging today. And then the biggest thing I learned about alligators, which I was very surprised, is I always thought if you saw an alligator coming, you serpentine. And most people think that. And the reason why you don't serpentine is because of figure for yourself going back and forth, the time that it takes to go back and forth. Well, the alligator is very, very fast. That was another thing I didn't know. And it goes straight. So eventually, even though you may be able to outrun it, if you're too busy using your energy and going back and forth, he's got time to intercept you. So you don't want a serpentine. So we had this bigger alligator, and then it was just people were coming in. We've got our landscaping crew that comes to take care of the HOA. So I've got to inform all these workers because they literally get right next to the pond. They're trimming, they're doing the weed whacker, and then mowing. And one of them saw it, and he starts running and jumping, and I'm trying to wave him down, don't get near the pond right now, or at least be aware that there's an alligator in there. So it was not, then you're notifying people. So it was one of those days where you're going and you're going and you're going. And yesterday it was no different, with all these different pieces I'm working on. And then, spice that up, continuing the fight for children's rights. And a friend of mine is, I'm very excited for her, is going to be entering into the race and campaign. So she needs someone to help with that. She called, and I'm like, sure, why not? Boom, I can do this. So it was just one of those days where, each individually, and I think we can all relate to that, where you have a day that is fulfilling, but at the same time, you're pulled in multiple directions, and you're trying to prioritize. And then literally, when the management, right before the management company came over, and that was probably about 4:30. So this has been a full day of this. 2 of the neighbors came in, they're on their bikes, and one of them took a nasty fall. So we're going to help her up. As we're trying to help her up, the gate, the big HOA community gate starts to shut on us. So we're one person trying to hold the gate back so we're not all crushed. It was just nonstop like that all day long. So yeah. How was your day?
Well, other than a little chipmunk running around the yard and aggravating the monster when I was taking him out for his walks, all is calm on the circle, which is a
Well,
good thing.
that is a good thing.
And when stuff like that happens, especially down south, I can remember when Claudine had, our oldest sister, had the gator in her pool. And the funny thing about that story was she was on a call with, I don't know, whomever, and Kelly is trying to get her attention because Kelly had her feet in the pool and was like splashing. She saw something over on the other end of the pool and she looked, she said, holy shit, it's a gator. And she comes in trying to get her mother's attention, couldn't get her attention. And, Claudine is like, I'm trying, I'm on the phone. I can't. And she's like, Mom, there's a gator in the pool. She said, oh, something about a gator in the pool. What? There's a gator in the pool? So then she finally realized, not, getting caught up in the there.
Right. And you, like I said, you don't realize the other thing is they're when they open up, that's not their strength. So when they open up, you still have time to, like, obviously get out of harm's way. When their bite is the most strength is when they're clamped onto you. So when they're approaching you, say, here's your hand, they were approaching you this way, like this, they're not that strong. So you still have time to, like, fight it. It's when they finally clamp down on you that, which, I guess in some regards should be somewhat common sense, but you just don't know. So, the piece about, obviously they're endangered species and you've got to, do all these protocols, I'm still saying, okay, so how are we supposed to, like, get this thing out of the pond long enough to trap him? But apparently they know what they're doing down here, and I guess we'll soon find out. But it is breeding season. I didn't know that either. And then when the management company was on their way over, they actually saw two others, which is the canal behind the development's property line. There's a canal there, so we have like a wall and then a canal. And he said, yeah, there was just two, just kind of sunbathing. And I'm like, oh, yeah. So of course we have the pond, the other little pond. So we're keeping an eye, because he said they really can hop. Like if they say in Joe's pond, he has a lot of bass and some turtles, where our pond has more turtles. And the gators eat the turtles and or the bass. So once that feeding ground is kind of like stomped on, they will, head their way over to another place. So, we've got to keep an eye out, and do our due diligence and warn people and say, look, we want you to be safe. Don't feed them. And if you in the past were feeding the turtles and the fish, hold off. And I, the only thing I did not find, which I got to look up, is how long this breeding season is. So I've got, there's some other things that I just want to know, but yeah, I'm learning quite a bit about those kinds of things that I never thought I would. But, the good thing about it is it's always good to be open to learn different things, especially if you're in a new environment. We've been here 3.5 years, but there's a lot of things about the South that we haven't really had to deal with. So now I'm learning a few other things, so I'm okay with that. But one thing I'm excited about is the Kentucky Derby that's coming up. I've heard a lot of good things about what's going to go on that day. So that's pretty exciting. And of course, PickleBall U, we're going to do our own style of Kentucky Derby and a little cookout. So, I'm in the midst of, making all those last minute arrangements for that. And I've been busy. I know you've been extremely busy. You've got some great of your stories podcast, quite a few different guests coming on. So that's exciting.
Yeah, it's real exciting. And, so many books to read, so little time. I am truly blessed and grateful. And I think the obviously the importance of stories is that they need to be told. But anyways, back to the gator story, I just had to look this up when you were saying, gee, I wonder how long, mating season.
Yes, how long is it?
So listen to this. Courtship begins in early April.
Oh, courtship. Geez, they go, okay.
And mating occurs in May or June. Females build a mound nest of soil, vegetation, or debris and deposit an average of 32 to 46 eggs in
Oh,
late
Lord.
June or early July.
Well, see, that's so I'm thinking about that. So think about that. You say they start early courting in April. They're laying and they're laying their eggs and preparing in May, and then these babies are being born what, June, July?
Well,
And
what they
so-
say, they deposit the eggs in
Okay.
late June or early July. Incubation requires approximately 63 to 68 days. And hatching occurs from mid-August through early September.
Oh, Lordy. So I'm in this for the long haul.
Yes, you are. So if you see any,
Well, can you send me that information? That's very helpful. So, obviously the importance of, being a part of a HOA board, is informing whoever that the governing body is informing. So that is all good information that I could utilize to let the neighbors know that we're really at the cusp of it. When you think about April, they were courting, well, and then you've got these two. Now I wonder, does it give a region? Like, is it different in different regions, like South Florida versus, west side of Florida versus east side? I wonder if it's by region.
I'm sure this will dig into.
Yeah, you have to send me the link.
Fox 35 in Orlando. Here it has an article or something. It's from March 21st, 2023. Here a massive Florida alligators mating call.
Oh,
Why breeding season has started a bit early.
okay, so it started early. So that would explain why we have some babies already, because obviously it started early. And I don't know, like, the growth. So, I mean, I know when they're, born, they're like, I don't know, 6 inches, something like that.
I don't know.
I wonder, I didn't look into that piece to it. So yeah, everything you want to know about gators, I'm finding out. So of course we were joking around, that it's Joe's across the street, it's his pet. And he goes, yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm going to be sitting here, I'm going to be doing a ticket counter of everyone coming by to check out the gator. So we're looking for a name for that. And I'm also looking for a name. Where is my horsey? Hold on.
Wally.
Wally.
Yeah, Wally.
She's a she. I think I'm going to keep her as a girl. So here's my Derby horse. And I did put a thing out there to, and I love the fact that my bit is blue, because obviously, look at that. And I didn't even request it like that, but it came like that. So that was a sign, and it's blonde. So there you go, Blondie Blue. It might be Blue Blondie, or I don't know. I haven't come up with the name yet. I've got people.
Oh, how about Clarice?
Clarice, no, because that reminds me of that creepy movie.
What creepy movie?
Clarice, the guy who, what was his name?
No, Clarice was the name of the reindeer in
I know that, but Clarice was also in a murder movie. Like the guy, what was it? It's a disgusting movie. Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, icky.
Clarice, don't you remember him talking? Oh, Clarice.
Oh,
Now you're freaking me out. No, here's my pony. Here's my Derby. Here's my Derby girl. So I don't know.
What are some of the names that you've gotten?
Oh, I've gotten Clyde. I've gotten Vanilla Sky, something with blue, Thrive, something Elite. You look at my page, there's, people are chiming in. Somebody goes, Little Pony. I'm like, oh my God, that's such a dumb one, Little Pony. It's actually a friend of mine, but I was cracking up. All kinds of names. So yeah, that's my pony. And we are, getting excited. A lot of people, they don't really know what I've gotten stored, so they're a little nervous because they didn't. Some people didn't get a horse like that. So what I did order is also blow up horses to encourage people. No, it's okay that you didn't make a horse or decorate your horse, but here's a horse. to get them to play the game. So it's going to be fun. It really is just to bring the spirit of the Derby and gather people. And, anytime we do any kind of gathering as we do when we celebrate holidays, birthdays, whatever, gatherings are just a great way for people to connect in a different way than they normally would. So a lot of times when we're getting together, especially if it's an outdoor event, like, not at the pickleball premises per se, where it's at a restaurant or a happy hour or whatever, sometimes we don't even recognize people. We actually have to wear name tags. So everyone's usually got visor on, their hair's up. And now all of a sudden they come all made up and dressed differently. And you're like, oh, do I know you? So it's kind of funny that way. But yeah, I'm excited about the Kentucky Derby PBU style. So I do have to find a name for my pretty girl. I just don't know what it's going to be. We'll have to wait and see. I still have time. But then I thought, when the kids come, they'll get a kick out of a horse.
Yeah.
Nani's horse. Never too old to have a horse, right?
That is
and the beauty of it is you don't have to give it hay. You don't have to brush it. You don't have to take care of it.
I remember that. Do you remember the name of the pony we had in Cromwell?
Jeez. No.
I remember the name.
Well, share.
It was Jack.
Oh, that's right. It was Jack. Yeah. 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 And we had to brush him and take care of him, and we rode him, and he was stubborn though. I remember him being very stubborn.
Yes, he was.
He would buck a lot. And yeah, that was a fun time. But yeah, you had to take care of him. You had to clean the stall. You had to take him out. So with mine, it's a stuffy, so I love it. So it was funny when I was first understanding and learning all about the gators. I was thinking of our grandson Jedrick, who has a stuffy, an alligator. He calls him Chompy. So I'm like, I got to ask Jed if I can call this one Chompy. It's kind of appropriate.
That is true. I mean,
And pets, you got to be careful with your pets because when we first went over there, Molly, Joe's dog, is a small dog. And, we go coming out the back and he immediately runs for the pond because he likes to so John had to stop him, and the two of them almost ended up in the pond. So I was a little freaked out over that. But again, these alligators are fast. They can grab a hold of you quite quickly. So, a funny thing could have turned out to be a horrible experience. I'm grateful and thankful it wasn't. So we're going to keep our due diligence, but it is TriumphTuesday. Today is a day where you say, can I get through this? Can I manage this? Do I have to renegotiate? Do I got to renavigate? How am I going to get through this? And a lot of times, in order to triumph over something, you have to take the necessary steps to halt what you're doing, halt your mindset, rethink, renavigate, and say, how can I get through this experience better than I started, or it's not going to turn out the way I anticipated, but I still want to make it a positive event, or at least take that struggle of whatever I'm doing and push through it. So what are some of the things that you do?
Well, some of the things that I do is I try to keep an open mind, because you can plan your day, as we've chatted about several times, and no matter how you craft your day and how you plan it out, chances are, life happens. It happens to everyone. And, that happened to me today. And I was like, we had a leak in our upstairs kitchen under the sink. And
oh no.
And the way I have to look at it is, and it kind of had me a little frazzled a little bit, but the way I looked at it was, you know what? Yeah, this stinks. However, I found the leak just in time. Had I not noticed it, it could have gone on for, who knows how long. I was actually looking for one of my pot cleaner things, and it's usually in the back because I don't pull it. It's not something that would be right out front. And I went, oh my God, there's water here. What's going on? But, you got to go, so to speak, with the flow. You got to keep an open mind. And I think with anything that you go through, like I was chatting with someone who was on the TwoSistas podcast today, I don't know, about a year or so ago, Cindy Vallone. And, we were talking about, different struggles that pop up, and how do you work through them? And for me, I was sharing with her, of course, everything that has transpired with Ryan. And by the way, everyone, he's doing great. Past the 6-month mark about 2 weeks ago. It's just amazing. But anyways, I feel like I'm finally coming out of a fog. So I think you have to look at your journey sometimes is, what has transpired along the way, what has worked for you, how do you pivot when things go awry, and you just have to remain calm and focused as much as you possibly can.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing of, kind of reevaluating and knowing that sometimes you were always meant to pivot.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that there's no obviously we're not in control of things that happen to us. So a lot of times it's not even predicted. As much as you prepare for your day, being organized, maybe you have your calendar already, all your appointments dotted in a row, and you know exactly what you're doing. And then you have some unforeseen activity, which I've experienced in the last 48 hours. It happens. Does it extend your day? You might have to. Do you have to say, instead of getting 2 loads of laundry done, I'm only getting 1? Yeah. I even yesterday, because yesterday was just as bad as today was. And I say bad, just it's busy. I should say not bad, because it wasn't anything that was bad that happened. It was just a lot of craziness. One of the first things we always talk about is really having a good foundation of a success when you start your day. Mine is always making my bed. Well, yesterday, because, or was it today? See, I'm blending my 2 days. It was actually, no, it was yesterday. Because I, again, was getting information about the other pond and the alligators there. And then I had to go check homes for some other different things. And I didn't get around to really noticing that my bed was not made until about 11 a.m., which is very highly unusual for me. I'm usually, up early, and sometimes 90% of the time I don't even go to the bathroom before I make my bed. So, and I thought to myself, well, you know what? The easy way out here is just kind of neaten up the bed, straighten, pull, sheets and whatever. And I'm like, nope. I'm always committed to making my bed, and I don't care that it's 11 a.m. I'm still going to make it, because I'm the one who loves to get into a neat and tidy bed. John could care less, but I like to get into a neat and tidy bed. So I'm like, no, I'm not going to. I look forward to that, moment where I'm taking the sheets down and the blanket down, and everything's all set up the way I want. And then, so I'm like, I'm not losing my later on in the evening, because I decided to turn, my nose to, well, whatever, I didn't make my bed today. So I still made my bed. So which again, for a lot of people sounds mundane, but, we have to do whatever we, our routine allows us to do, that we're passionate about, that we want to make sure that those are even our small stepping stones of success, that we can say, yeah, I did it. Even though in the midst of all this chaos, I still made my bed. So that's kind of how I went. And with today's momentum, and I'm glad I did, although I did make my bed earlier. But
and guess what? Momentum is progress, and that's the beauty of the triumph. Boom.
Love that. So tomorrow, do we have a guest on tomorrow?
I don't believe so. No.
We'll be on bright and early for Wealth Wellness Wednesday,
Yeah.
one of our favorite days of the week, to share some kindness and really show people the advantages of being positive and being helpful to other people. And you put those good positive energy out in the universe, and it comes back tenfold to you. May not be right away, but the universe has a funny way of working out for you and for me. And we know that there's an abundance of love and gratitude and monetary things that can really help inspire us to impact lives in a positive way. So we're super excited for that. Well, this was a very great podcast, getting caught up on, our Triumph Tuesdays. We hope that, you reach out to your tribe, the people that you lock your arms with, and, chat about your day. What were your struggles? What did you triumph over? And you're going to really find that most people nobody lives a perfect life. Nobody has a perfect day. I always say, you know, it's perfect as it is as perfect as it can be until tomorrow. Because you always want to put your best foot forward, regardless of any situation, and you will find the blessings that will sustain you and keep you going strong. So with that, we wish you a great Triumph Tuesday. We will see you tomorrow for Wealth Wellness Wednesday. Wow, it's been a busy day. With that, this is Carol Sue, aka Nona Boss, live with
TwoSistas. And hey, everyone, this is Janice, aka Wellness Diva 5.0. Tomorrow, I love ya. Tomorrow, I know, don't quit my day job.
No, I thought you did that pretty nicely. Sounded pretty good.
Oh my gosh. Well, why, thank you.
Oh, before I forget, a happy anniversary to our cousins,
Yes.
Ralphie and Marianne. They're celebrating, Anne-Marie rather, they're celebrating
38
31,
years.
38 years. That's what it is. So congratulations to Anne-Marie and Ralphie Valenti celebrating the 38 years of marriage and love. They're such a cute couple, fun couple. So we wish them a happy anniversary.
Awesome. We'll take care and we shall see you all tomorrow. Bye for now.
Bye-bye now.